Hi everyone, it's Brad Wood again. Another screencast in my What's New in Commandbox 4 series. Today we're going to do a quick intro to task runners. These actually aren't technically new in Commandbox 4, but we do have a handful of new enhancements for task runners. If you want to see an overview of all the things that are new in Commandbox 4, you can check out this blog post here. This is the blog post I wrote when we released our release candidate, and it has an overview of all the new cool stuff you can do with task runners. So let's jump in here. Basically what task runners are is the ability for you to run ad hoc ColdFusion code outside of a server purely from the command line in a way that you can automate it with cron jobs or scheduled tasks or just one-off scripts that you want to run as an alternative to using Apache Ant or a bash shell script or PowerShell or a batch file. This allows you to do tasks that you are more comfortable doing in ColdFusion. You can connect to a database, you can manipulate XML files, whatever you need to do. Task runners are wrapped up very concisely in a very simple CFC file. To create your very first task, you can run the task create function. If I run that, you can see here that it threw a little file called task.cfc into this folder. Let's open this up in my default editor. Here's the code it created for us, and it's just a component with a single function called run, and it has one line of code, print green line complete. So that was step one, to create the task runner. Step two is to run it, and we do that by typing task run. And it outputs a green line of text that says complete. So it's very simple to create your first task runner, and you can immediately begin playing around with it. So some of the fun things you can do with tasks involve interactivity. You can ask users questions, especially if you want to be able to create a task that maybe can be configurable, run differently. So quite simply, we can say our color equals ask, what is your favorite color? And then we have to spell it correctly, or the spelling police come and arrest us. All right, so this will ask as a built-in function that's available on all task runners and custom commands. It'll pause the shell and wait for the user to type something and hit enter, and it will place the response into a variable called color. And so then we can output you chose, and we can output the name of the color. So let's try this. We don't need to reload anything. We can just immediately save that file and type task run again. And now it says, what is your favorite color? I would have to type in blue. I hit enter and it says you chose blue. In addition to interactivity, you can print out any kind of text you want using this print helper. Green line is obviously not the only thing you can print. You can use any of the colors that are available in Commandbox, and in case you're curious what colors are available, you can run the system colors command, and every single one of these colors are available for you to output. Now keep in mind that users that don't have 256 color support will have these colors simplified down, so you might want to stick to some of these basic 8 or 16 colors if you're going to distribute your task for other people to run. So olive is the name of a valid color. I can say print olive line instead of blue line, and then if I rerun my task, what's your favorite color? This time I say green. It outputs in the olive color. Additionally, you may want to pass parameters into a task so you can call it different ways. You can do that by simply declaring parameters just like you would in a ColdFusion function. So I'm going to say there's a parameter called name, and my task will say hello, and then I want it to output the name, and this just comes in the regular argument scope. Default that to an empty string in case one isn't provided. So the way that we pass parameters is like so. I can do task run, and then for the task parameters, we precede the name of the parameter with a colon. Because we're not passing this parameter into the task run command, but we want it to be a pass-through all the way to the task itself. And so I say the name is going to be Brad, and now we get hello Brad. You could have multiple targets in your tasks as well. If I wanted to create a second function and I wanted to call it build, let's say. And when we were done, we would print a red line and say build complete. The way I would call this build target is I would specify the name I wanted to run. So if we look at the help for task run, you'll see that the main command takes two things: the name of the task CFC you want to run, which defaults to task.cfc, and of course the name of the method or the target that we want to run inside of that. So we can do task run target equals build, and now it outputs build complete. So instead of running that run method, it ran the build method. So you can have as many task runners as you want in the same directory. You can give them different names. In fact, let's just show that. If we rename task.cfc to be brad.cfc. All right, so the file now has a new name. I can do task run Brad. I don't need to put the .cfc, and I can tell it to run the build. So I want it to run the Brad task runner and the build target, and that's still what we run. The default is just for it to be called task.cfc. So there's a lot of what you can do here. Any valid ColdFusion code is going to be valid for you to put into a task runner. You can connect to a database, you can zip up log files, you can interact with the user, you can scaffold out files and folders on the hard drive, generate PDFs. It all runs in CFML, and it is running on Lucy 5, which is the CFML engine that powers the Commandbox CLI. So hopefully this little intro to task runners will give you some ideas. Check out the docs again on task runners. They're right here, and we go over the anatomy of a task, parameters, output, all the different shell integration and things you can get, even how to download files and be interactive with the users, and it's all right here in the docs. So have some fun experimenting with task runners, and you guys have a good one.